Hello, how you doing? My name is Dan McDonald, and I'm the Liferegenerator here on YouTube. I want to thank you for joining me for today's episode of the Liferegenerator Show. I'm here with my good friend Dan, bandmate, and house guest, and traveler, and restaurateur, temporarily.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have no idea what we're going to talk about. But I know that in some way or another, since you ended up here, you've got what I like to call a life regenerator story.
Mm-hmm. I do.
I know that it can come off sometimes as you really want to stroke your ego, don't you, Dan? But that's not really why I do the ask people. Like, I'm interested in like how people's lives are being affected, because you would be surprised. You'd think it would always be about diet, but it hardly ever is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what's a trip. And I'm like, if somebody's like, oh, I googled this one video and then I just stopped doing drugs and I've been sober ever since, and I'm like, wow, that's very random. So I want to know, like, you were starting to tell me, but I said, no, let's make a video. So what is your life regenerator story? When did you first see the videos?
I saw my first Life Regenerator video about 1.5 years ago.
Are you nervous?
I am not nervous.
Oh, okay. You're the most mellow guy. Great housemate, too. Anyways, so 1.5 years ago, and were there any changes right away? Any inspiration?
The first obvious change was that I got a juicer. It was one of the videos where you were out in front of your trailer doing a lemon ginger blast or doing a coconut wheatgrass or something like that. And I was at a point where I needed to change in a lot of aspects of my life. But the first thing I could do was get a juicer. So my mom helped me out with some money, and I got myself a Breville, and I started going at it every day. And that was a lot of fun. I was living with some people that were not quite on my wavelength socially and just in the way they would spend their free time, but they started using the juicer. They would get up in the middle of the night, or they'd be up in the middle of the night working on something. I was at college, and all of a sudden they'd start making carrot and orange juice in the juicer, and sure, they'd be doing other things while they were drinking the juice that maybe weren't as acceptable to the lifestyle, but
we were all there once. So
yeah.
Some of us.
No, it was fun though, and it has been a lot of fun. So that first video got me juicing, and at that point I was also seeking more spiritual awareness and knowledge, and I think the accessibility of the way you speak about spirituality helped me to realize that it wasn't some big leap that I had to make. It was like little changes in my life that I could institute pretty immediately.
Is the chasm of being a non-spiritual person to being spiritual was like, whoa.
Yeah, just like watching my thoughts day by day, spending time alone, meditating, yes, but also just recognizing the patterns, how I fell into them, and more being aware and not judging myself about them, And I think just that little ounce of awareness helped me to, over a longer span of time, recognize some of the things that I was repressing or not being truthful to myself about.
So some of those things were coming through the videos? Like
Yeah.
just the little tidbits?
Uh-huh. Well, it was inspirational, like that the videos made me want to start making changes, whereas as I feel with a lot of people who are sure that they should be making dietary and lifestyle changes, the most obvious dietary changes, they know that they need to start eating better and start living a better lifestyle, start exercising, but it seems so daunting. They barely recognize that there's going to be advantages to it. It's more just a big challenge that they can't exactly...
Almost insurmountable?
Yeah, and like it's undesirable to do. But you realize as you start to juice and eat lighter and, come to terms with, maybe this relationship has to end, or You know, I need to make other friends or something like that. That these changes are actually feel really good. Like you start making adjustments and you start feeling better. So it's not that insurmountable feeling.
You begin to become aware of some of the things that you've been sort of putting on the back burner that you don't really want to deal with, like getting out of a relationship or changing your food habits, or actually having to, you know, that you've been thinking for 3 to 4 years you need to start getting some exercise, but you never do.
Yeah.
Okay, well that is very cool, man. I'm glad to hear that. So this is all new for me too, because we met Woodstock Fruit Festival 2012.
Yep.
Okay, and I remember at that time we had a little bit of a consult of sorts, right?
Yeah, we spent probably a half hour talking out on the lawn there.
And you had some health issues that you were working with?
Yes.
You mind talking about that?
Yeah, not at all.
Okay, so it was really some type of eczema on the hands,
Yeah.
which for you was kind of a big deal because you're a musician, a bassist, guitar, keyboards, and so, you know, your fingers were kind of hurting and you were raw. And so I can attest, I mean, it's gotten a lot better. You had some pretty serious issues. Was it only on the hands?
Well, eczema in my body and on my skin goes back to when I was a little kid. I never, I can never trace its origins in terms of when it would flare up and when it would go away, or what led to flare-ups. And my parents never really sought that out, which is understandable. I mean, most people don't really even recognize
Drugs?
that. Well, as me, like, it went back to as early as like when I was 3 or 4 years old. You know, this eczema, it would happen up and down my arms, on my knees, and I never was really sure if it was something I was eating or if it was stress in my life. Because when you have stress at that early, you don't know what stress is. It's just, you know, it's just the harshness of growing up. But if the situations got harsher, then maybe my eczema got worse. I don't know. But what happened recently was that I was at college for about 3 years in upstate New York, and I was studying music. I went to school for music, and I played bass and upright bass and cello and a bunch of different instruments. And as the years went by, both my eating, but mostly my stress habits and my just me being hard on myself led to me being stressed and kind of tight and rigid. And it started to my eczema had been gone for that whole 3 years, and all of a sudden it started to pop up on my hands where it had never been before, up and down my wrists and in my palms, tops of my fingers, and it kept me from playing. And at that point I wasn't even really that into playing. I was doing a lot of it, but I was still just so stressed out that I didn't even really want to play. And all of a sudden I had eczema on my hands, so I could.
You were doing it for money?
Yeah, I was playing for money. I was going to school for it. I was taking lessons.
So you were just going
every day, morning till night. I was playing, but all of a sudden I couldn't. So I had to take medical leave from school, and but I was still up there. So I was still surrounded by the kids at school, or the other guys and girls, and they would be going out and they would study during the day and go out at night, and I would just stay in at that point because I started to realize after watching your videos that this is something that I could do something about. That these patterns and these things in my mind were something that I could get a hold of and change, and also I could grasp the diet pretty easily and start juicing and integrate all of that. And ever since about a year and a half, it's been about being lighter on myself, being more peaceful, and also working on it slowly. So I had this eczema on my hands. I still have issues with it, but it has gotten a lot better over the last year and a half. Before I came to Dan's house here, I just got to California. I moved cross country with a friend, and now I'm living in the Bay Area. I undertook a 14-day water fast, and over the course of that water fast, my skin got a lot better, and now I've been able to work in a restaurant kitchen, washing my hands constantly and wearing latex gloves and everything without too much of an issue. Whereas before the fast, before the food, before the piece of okay, this is actually going to go away, I would have been so uncomfortable in that job I would have wanted to leave.
Yeah, and so it's going to continue to improve. You are right now mostly raw. Okay, cool. And so yeah, if you continue to work on that, it'll definitely disappear. I've always thought that and found that the skin issues were related to, obviously the stress is one thing, and then also the starches, which some people use as a stress relief. You know, is the breads and the cookies and the cakes and the crackers, chewing, and so then you have this you know, fermenting of the carbohydrates that are the starchy, cooked grain type, and that can lead to a lot of the issues with the hands, or just the eczema itself, and the psoriasis, dandruff, that type of thing.
I think what's also important for me personally is getting hold of my eating habits around food, regardless of the food content. Like, I was eating out of stress also really late at night, you know, with the way I was living. I was up until 3 o'clock in the morning often, you know, whether it was because I was working or it was because I was around people that were also up until 3 o'clock in the morning, and why not stay up that late when you don't have to get up in the morning? But when you eat that late and then go right to bed, you wake up and the food's just like still there.
Yeah.
You can feel it, and it wasn't always that way for me. I used to be able to eat and eat and eat and not even like have any I didn't even want to know what was going on down here. I would just put things down the pipe and, you know, that was it.
Yeah.
But after a while, like, I started to realize, like, I shouldn't be eating, like, you know, a big sandwich before I go to bed. Like, that makes pretty much no sense.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot to it, though. If you don't have time to eat dinner and you get home and it's time to go to bed, but it's also time to eat, then what do you do? You know,
So your awareness expanded throughout all this, too, just watching what you eat.
Yeah.
People are like, I never had a problem until I started this new diet, doggone it. It's just that you never realized that you didn't have awareness of that area of your life, which is the eating area. Now you're paying attention and you're learning and growing about how to properly feed yourself as a human being.
Right. Yeah, and there's certain things that I've instituted that have helped, and also, you know, that I'm still working with. Drinking water in the morning and waiting a little while until eating, until I like until things start going, you know. And the morning practices, waking up and not just going up to the kitchen and eating and then going to work. Waking up a little earlier, doing a little breathing meditation, then also stretching out, and then that's, you know, then once I've stretched, I start to, like, you know, things start moving, and then I start to want to eat.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
So some good stuff, man, and the continuation of the improvement in all areas of your life is happening right now.
Yeah,
Cool.
I mean, that's why I'm up here in the Bay. I mean, I graduated college, finally got back to school, just kind of manned up and kept on playing through my health issues. But yeah, I graduated in May and had to make a choice as to where I was going, and decided to drive cross country and find an apartment up here. And
Cool.
yeah, I feel it's nice to be in a place where I'm confident that I could both find work and find output creatively through art, music, dance, and stuff like that, and also find really good food year round. But not everyone has the luxury of being able to just get up and go. You know, it just so happened that I needed to go somewhere, and I didn't have that many ties to anywhere in particular. So, you know.
So you called us up and got a job from Sophia's dad.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
Pretty uncannily, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And now you got a couple jobs, making money, and been staying here for like a week. You're about to move into your new place here pretty soon.
Yep, got a nice room in a house in El Cerrito.
We just started a band a couple days ago, so I'm going to hold on to this guy because he's a really good bass player, and it's a lot of fun. We bought a microphone. I went and bought some new stuff for my drums, and we've been having some fun jamming, so we'll see where that goes for sure.
That'll be fun.
But you're definitely part of the family, bro.
Awesome.
I said you gotta come back. You can't just come and stay with us for a week and make us fall in love with you and then take off, man. So Dan is a really great guy to have around. Just great energy, keeps the kitchen clean. Everybody here, Natasha's still here. You know, it gets pretty messy in there, but then somebody wakes up in the morning and cleans the place.
Yeah,
You know?
it's been good. What's important for me also throughout the course of me searching for an apartment since I've been in the area and not having that many connections around is I've started to realize that it's very important to have a circle around you that you look forward either to coming home to or just spending time with, and that picking a good neighbor is better than picking a good, nice apartment or picking a good area. Just to like, since I've been here, you know, maybe almost a week, I guess now. Coming over the hill and driving to the house has been a relaxing experience. Whereas in the past, going home, oh, like my roommate he never does the dishes, or he's always playing music up loud at night, and things just kind of get to you and build. And you know, it's important to have people that can keep an even keel and be honest with each other. And you know, I hope I keep on finding something like that, especially in this new house. But it's become an important thing for me, is seeking out the right people.
It's a blessing here, the Love Center.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's always something good happening. No partying, no drinking, no bad vibes on the TV. Everybody's always working out whatever's going on. It's just getting handled right then and there. Nothing builds up.
Right.
So it's a real peaceful, happy place to be. The Love Center here in Vallejo, California. So yeah, Vallejo. Anyways, that's a whole nother.
You're working on it.
The video. Yeah, we're gonna be moving soon, and we're gonna take the Love Center and move it to somewhere out into nature. So that's why the D. He's the D dog. I'm Dan the man. That's so we don't get confused. D dog and Dan the man in the house here, because otherwise they say, "Where's Dan? Which one?" And so we're working on actually moving. So I'm going to be busting my butt here on the YouTube and making some things happen for myself. And that's one thing that I learned the other night. We were watching a video on prosperity and abundance. And of course we all know this because I'm a survivor. But everyone, just to plant this in your head, if something is going to happen in your life, you're the one that's going to do it, you know? No one else is going to do it for you. You have to grab life by the you-know-whats and just make it happen. You got to get up with your plan and execute, you know? You got to move forward, and you can't let anybody, haters, naysayers, negative relatives, or overweight friends, you know, or people that are addicted to whatever, hold you back and pull you back. You got to make the decision. You got to do it for yourself, and then you've got to bust through all the resistance. And that's exactly how I'm living right now, busting through my own resistance, busting through the resistance of any naysayers. And I wanted to throw that in there because it's been challenging, but I'm the only one that's going to do it. So if I'm going to get up out of Vallejo and make my life what I want it to be and move the Love Center somewhere in nature, I'm going to need to make some things happen. I'm going to do that, you know. So great video. Yeah, well, you'll definitely you're part of the family now, bro. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the interview. Just something, chill out and maybe get inspired. But anybody's life, your life is improved.
My life has improved.
And life can improve, and it always will. If you want to get on that trajectory, and it's a slow and steady thing, right? Mm-hmm. There's quantum leaps here and there,
right,
but usually it's just one little step at a time. And there's some people that are much smarter and much more talented than I am. And so what I decided was that way back ago, I knew there was one thing I could count on, and that would be persistence. It was this, you know, I would just keep going, and I would never give up, and I would just inch my way towards my goals. And I find that when you do that, the grace comes out of the sky. The big guy with the white beard in the sky throws you a big ball of grace, and you can have those quantum leaps and major shifts. Yeah. But you got to stay dedicated to your vision. So anyways, thank you for your time today. Anything else, Dan?
No. I think staying open to the leaps, though, is very important. What you were saying the other night, you said the body's either in a yes or no capacity. And
yeah.
You're either saying yes to abundance and love and inspiration and letting energy flow through you, or you're in your own head saying no and thinking about the past or thinking about the future. It's either you're on or you're off, and I think keeping
dreading
on as
the
much
past
as you can
with the guilt and the shame, or fearing the future. Well, what if I can't? What if it doesn't work out? Mm-hmm. So really, it's like what you do is you decide, and after you decide, then the universe comes to your aid. You can't be wishy-washy and then expect the universe to come to your aid if you haven't made the decision. Like you make the decision, I'm going to lose some weight, and then you make that decision, and then the right video and the right book and the right person and the right exercises and the right diet program comes along. So that's one of the big things. And what Dan was saying is that there's like two positions in this life that you can take. It's so simple like that. It's either you're saying yes to the moment and processing whatever's going on, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, or something that's unpleasant comes up and you shut down and you go into the off position, but then that is still there and it gets stagnant. You may be able to distract yourself from it, but you never move through it. So then it just accumulates. And if you can always stay in the on position, in the flow position, then you don't get those blocks built up in you to where you have some energy some of the time. But no, if you just keep free flowing, that energy is unlimited and you can keep moving forward and gaining more energy as you begin to process that stuff by just saying, hey, I have that feeling of depression. But that's okay. You don't need to eat nothing or distract yourself. You just allow that sensation to take place by staying on or saying yes to it and being okay with it. And then it just, like anything else, I call it diffusion. It just diffuses and then it's gone. But if you're like, this is depressing, I need to go smoke something or eat something or distract myself, that depression or that whatever was causing that you to feel that sensation that you label as depression is going to get stuck there. You just shoved it back down and tried to circumvent it and found some other way to distract yourself to temporarily stimulate, but your spirit now will suffer because that's going to be buried in there. And that happens with guilt, shame, grief, depression, hopelessness, carelessness, all those types of things, and then they can get backed up. So that was just a little powwow we had the other night. So you've been trying to do your best to stay in the yes position.
Yeah, I wanted to share that because that stuck with me over the last 2 or 3 days. I've been thinking about that a lot,
Yeah, that's very important to learn to just say yes to life, to whatever's happening. That's all the spiritual masters will tell you. The now or the present moment or whatever. It's just, that's the yes. Instead of the, whoa, no way, that's unpleasant.
Yeah.
I'm out. I'm going to go distract. And then you unconsciously bury so much garbage. Then it's sitting there and then, your wife brings home the wheat bread instead of the white. You like the white bread and you just finally, all that anger that you've circumvented and pressed down, just, oh, you brought the white, I hate wheat bread, you stupid, you know what? And you get a divorce because she brought home white bread instead of wheat because you just had so much, that anger needed it. You just were looking for an excuse to get angry instead of just being okay with anger, staying yes with it and be like, I feel that sensation that I label as anger. You don't need to take it out on anyone or yourself or feel bad about it. You can just experience it out by staying in the yes position. So that's just that was a good thing to bring up because hopefully everyone kind of gets the essence of that and can continue just to say yes to life, yes to what is, yes to being human. I call it the vicissitudes. I mean, it's just how it is. Everybody's going to get old and, leave this place. So we might as well get used to it. And then everything that goes along, most of us are going to get our hearts broken once or twice. And you have to say yes to that too, otherwise it gets buried. Anyways, great interview, Dan. Thank you, y'all, for joining us today. We really hope you enjoyed. And more videos like this to come if they are so desired. So you have to be the one to let me know if you'd like to meet some of my more crazy friends when they do pass on through the Love Center here. But I'm sure you'll see Dan again if I have my way on some kind of music video or something.
Do you mind if I plug my YouTube channel?
Oh, go for it, bro. Yeah. For sure.
You can find me on YouTube also. My channel is called Bananas and Bass. So bananas, the letter N, and bass, B-A-S-S. I've got some music videos up there. I just put up a video with Barry Coral, the fruit farmer.
Oh, nice.
Did a nice edit on it, did my own music for it. And also I'll be debuting a music video soon of a piece I wrote. It's 20 minutes long. It's really cool. We got a professional filmographer for it, and it's going to be great. So that'll be up in about 2 or 3 weeks. Check it out. Yeah.
Great, man. So I will put a link down below. So go subscribe to D-Dog here, and I'll put a link down below this video just for that. So go over and subscribe because this is I'm a very good judge of character, and I know a great human being when I see it. And it's been a real pleasure to have you around, bro.
Same for me. Yeah.
The first time you visited, I was like, at first I was a little bit like, oh, okay, you know, I'll just have a quick visit with these guys. But I really ended up enjoying you and Pete. And I was like, wow, those guys had a good vibe. I remember feeling real good. And then Sophia said, there's this Dan coming. I said, I didn't even know who she was talking about, you know, because there's so many people and things. And then I remembered, and she said, oh, he'd been here before. And I said, oh, that's cool, man. Yeah, Dan, I remember him. He's a good vibe. So, and then I said, yeah, he can stay for a while, you know, until you get your stuff straightened out with the apartment.
Waiting to get settled, yeah.
Cool, man. So glad to be of service, bro. Glad to be of service to you if we were today. Have a great day. Say yes to life. Peace be with you. Bless your family. Subscribe to Dan and subscribe to Dan. And we are out of here. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Peace. Excellent.